Greetings, Minecrafters, and welcome to another pleasurable, hopefully, discussion on all things Minecraft. My name is Dr. Kimberly Quinn, and I am here to help you become the boss of your brains. I haven't said that in a while. I got to get a little more consistent with that, because that is the main theme of Minecraft, is to become the boss of your brain. So what we're going to talk about today is the Thanksgiving challenge. So, since there is no such thing as an ideal family, occasionally there's a prickly pear or two sometimes, or if it's a Friendsgiving you have. We're not even talking about anything enormously deep. There's obviously a spectrum of pains in the asses. So you got like mild to toxic, right? We'll leave the toxics alone for today, because that's not really where we're going with this. But just regular challenging personalities. And often the holidays can, of course, be amazing and wonderful, and people get together and we haven't seen each other in a long time and all that stuff. And also for, I would say, many, many people, again, scale of issues, for some of them it's super painful. Some people avoid them. Some people, for the most part, like them and look forward to them. And they still have to kind of get a little bit of armor up for that one person who's annoying, and there might be a sister-in-law or brother-in-law, or not true for me, I love mine, just saying that. But somebody who's there by default and you have to deal with them every year. And we've got, often there's a controlling parent or grandparent who says way too much and annoys the what out of us. So this is the Thanksgiving challenge, because we're gonna talk about finding your Zen place. And really, this is like how to be, that challenging person whisperer, because the best way to deal with these people too is just not to even let them get one more piece of you. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about the 4 main tips. Maybe there's 5. I got 4 in my head, and then I got like a 5th that's brewing. So I also have to give a shout out to Don Miguel Ruiz, author of the 4 Agreements, because this guy's amazing. If you haven't read that book, and I'm not reading it I'm reading from it at this minute. They're all locked right up here because I live by these rules. So the first one is to be impeccable with your word. And the word impeccable, if you don't know, because I didn't know that the exact literal meaning until I've read him so many times. I actually used that book for my Minecraft class. Anyway, impeccable means to be without sin. And what we're really talking about here is precision with what we say, which involves a little bit of cognitive planning. We're talking about seconds, not like a script for a play. Unless it's super necessary because you got somebody who's enormously challenging. But think about it. When we're clear with our words, it eliminates so much gossip and drama. It eliminates the emotional venom. And again, remember, scale of challenging people. They might just be a little annoying to like moderately annoying to like pretty annoying to like can hardly sit by them kind of thing. When we're impeccable with our word, it just eliminates so much of that, because when we're crystal clear with what we're saying, it doesn't leave as much room for misinterpretation. And that's verbally, that's enough. But when we get into texting and stuff, it's just I see it frequently with students, and we talk about it, and they acknowledge it. When we are, getting text, which is, you don't have any facial tone, no intonation, no body, stuff to read. It's just a text. It's so easy to misinterpret that. And then we get angry, and we see an exclamation point, and we get pissed, and why aren't you here now? And then they're in a hurry, they didn't mean to do that, whatever. So then we waste 2 hours of valuable life minutes being really pissed off about a text. And then, or they didn't answer us, and it can't be that the phone is dead, or they're at the dentist. It must be that they're mad at you or want to break up with you. Who knows what? So when we're impeccable with our word, it just eliminates so many issues. Okay, the next one, which is my favorite out of all of them, I don't know if these are in order, by the way, but that doesn't matter, is don't take things personally. Oh my gosh, I live by this, because many people don't realize that 90+% of what anyone says to us, even if it's seemed like the content is about us, it's not about us. Because we are all the main characters on our own stages. That's just the truth. So whatever they're saying to you, even if it's seemingly about you, it isn't, because it's going through their own filter, their own schema, which is very Piaget. But like we have our own filters for things. I think like a colander we dump pasta in. Everybody's got a different pasta, and what runs out of the colander and what stays in, even with the same conversation, are going to be different based on the receiving end. Because we run it through, I mean, our upbringing goes into that, culture goes into that, religion goes into that, anything that's ever been said to us goes into that, because that's how schemas are created. So, not taking things personally is so important. It's so important. And it's sometimes, and I didn't say easy, right? We have simple. Whoops, we have simple, and then we have easy. It is that simple. Just don't do it, like a Nike commercial, only the reverse. Just don't take things personally and realize it's about them. And it makes taking the high road so much easier when you really get that whatever they're saying is about them and who cares, right? Another one is not to make assumptions. And of course, as a cognitive psychology person, this is also a favorite because it goes along with that texting thing. So often we make assumptions and we waste valuable life minutes stewing and brewing about things that aren't even true. And so then we respond, or actually if we reacting's faster usually doesn't go well for us. Often we react, responding is better. We react like a knee-jerk reaction, and then we're reacting to a non-truth because it's a misinterpretation. It's like a distorted truth. Then that person's going to react to your distorted truth. So the distortion is like a bad '70s chain letter. It just keeps going. Or like that game we probably all played. I definitely did, or activity maybe I'd say in kindergarten or first grade when back then we had big classes like 26 kids or I don't even know. And you start something like, I'm going to my grandmother's house and I'm going to bring, and or you make up whatever sentence. By the time it gets around to like the 26th kid, it doesn't even moderately, not even at all resemble what the original sentence was. So think about that in grown-up version. We're not better than the kindergartners with that, especially since they weren't dealing with texting. At least they had faces and they could, hear something and look at you and, lip read or body, signals read. I did not say that right. You know what I'm saying? Facial expressions and body language. There we go. And just out here, it's very distracting because it's so beautiful. There are the goats doing their thing. So it's like that telephone game. Only it's easier on text to screw it up. So one distorted reaction leads to another distorted reaction, so on and so on and so on and so on and so on. Okay, so far we have be impeccable with your word because it eliminates, strongly reduces, and possibly eliminates lots of unnecessary drama and emotional poison. Don't take things personally because it's about the other person. Like 98% of whatever they're saying. Stay away from the content, doesn't matter. And don't make assumptions because they don't go well for us. Here's the thing, when in doubt, ask. And this is one thing I love about the Aspies. It's a generalization, so it won't be everybody. But I love our oldest daughter. Well, obviously I love my oldest daughter. One of the many things I love about her is because of her very logical, linear thinking that also has to make sense. They don't do this very much. And I've known lots of people. Well, she likes to say Asperger's, even though it's now called high-functioning autism. She does not like those words. One thing that many of them do, the young adults I've met, they're very logical and linear, like I said, and things have to make sense. So if they don't know, and reading facial expressions is not easy for them. It's not part of their wiring. So they ask, and our oldest daughter, Caitlin, will ask, are you, how do you feel? What do you think? Like, because she can't tell. So, and then, I mean, wasn't that a great plan if the whole world were like that? Think of how amazing that is. And rather than trying to use our telepathy skills and our mind reading skills and everything else, if we just said, how did that make you feel? I mean, when in doubt, ask. That's what I'm saying. Or what are you thinking about this? To actually ask somebody instead of just trying to think we know. It's such an easy trap to fall into. Okay, so don't make assumptions. And then the last one, I guess these are all my favorites. I really love the don't take things personally. And also the always do your best. This is one thing I probably bring up in my Minecraft class, I think, most days. Let's say that, most days, because I usually have some recovering perfectionists in there, too. And when we set the bar to do our best, it's one we can always meet, right? It's adjustable. And I remember I was at a Melissa Estridge concert because my very best friend from growing up, my rooftop friend, for those of you who kind of aware of her name, I think it's sort of sticking. Well, she's a Melissa Estridge groupie, and so I wouldn't say dragged because I enjoyed it. I knew exactly one song come through my window, but she was very nice. And in the concert, she said, I mean, she's such a good vibe. I can't even tell you. And I feel like I know her after being there because her concerts are very like intimate. They're small, and she gave me her guitar pick actually, which is kind of neat. And then of course I gave it to my rooftop friend because she's a total groupie and she loved it. She has it, I think, like in a plastic thing somewhere. Anyway, Melissa says, I mean, I do my best every day in every way. I love that. I do my best every day in every way. It's a bar we can always meet. Always is not a word I use often. There are certain times where it applies because it's adjustable. And I tell my students right about now, I just actually said it this week, because some of them, there's occasionally like a handful, life happens, and maybe they're usually an A student and life happened. And I say, look at that, it's a tough sell because they're focused on grades and things, but it does make them feel better because we talk about it. If you got a B minus or a C and, something horrible happened in your family, and I've been there at Champlain for 12 years, so statistically speaking, right, you're going to have some. So I had a student once who the whole semester he was dealing with letting his 17-year-old best friend go because he had very advanced leukemia. I mean, that's just one circumstance, right? So professors are very, we're good people and we're flexible and we do everything we can. And he just, it didn't matter. He was so sad, that, and as explain, that's like kind of an extreme situation. But there's all other moderate situations, and always do your best thing. Like a C sometimes, or even just passing, is really like the life version of an A, because if you look at that, in the perspective of what happened, what's going on in your life, the very fact that you were able to get up, get dressed, and get to class, let's say it's severe depression or something like that, you're a champion. Like if you just passed with all that going on, and that young man who went through all that, who did very well, all things considered, you are a champion. It's just so important. And the seasoned grown-up version of that, you got stuff going on with partners or who knows what, the fact you got up, got dressed, and went to work, were able to manage it, makes you a champion. It's just so important to remember. So let's rattle them off again. Be impeccable with your word, limits, dramatically, I said that twice. Okay, limits, drama. Gossip is emotional poison. Okay, don't take things personally because they're not about you anyway. So that's just, and in biting that hook is just your ego. So remind yourself of that. And don't make assumptions because they also contribute to the drama. And always do your best. So this is the Thanksgiving challenge. If we can do those 4 things, it's taking the high road, and you will have a much better time. And it's not like you have to let people know your secret weapons. You can just know all this stuff and sit back. And the last one that I'm adding, I was saying earlier, because it goes with all 4 of them, is to learn to hit the pause button. If you feel that shenpa, that urge to react, that itch we feel when somebody says something snarky or salty, hit the pause button, disappear into a bathroom, outside, something, because even 1 minute of distance from that, better if it's like 5 or 10, you can go for a walk. But even if you come back and you say whatever you have to say, it's going to be like way better for everybody if you hit the pause button. And that's something I have had to work on and still work on, because that is the Fast Mind Club thing. But man, it helps with the other 4 agreements. So the Thanksgiving challenge, to do those 4 things, plus hit the pause button, and you will have a far more enjoyable time. And you will also, be sharing a lot of your good vibration, your good energy and positivity with everybody, whether they know or not. So you could be like you could be like the family's secret weapon. They just don't need to know. All right? So the Thanksgiving challenge. This is Kimberly Quinn signing off from Northern Vermont. Have a mindful, very free day.